speaking in verse, and I've seen things that only people have dreamt, and there's many more dreams that are yet to be slept, and I'm living 10 lives in the space that is one, without regrets till I'm done.
Hey, Tiki Ra on the road, first podcast. Okay, I've tried to do this so many times, but you know what? Grassroots is best. So I started to get what I needed for the project. So that it's involved a few steps, let's just say, to get this project on the road. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen before I can even get on the road. And the first thing was to sell my van so I could fund the trip. And so that was great. That sold after about 6 weeks of trying to sell it. A beautiful couple from Bowen came down and just loved it and fell in love with the van like I had. So that was really nice. I was able to deliver it to them up in Bowen. And then I hitchhiked back because suddenly I found myself without a vehicle. And so how was I to get home? And I thought, well, it's time to start my new life. And so when I was younger, I used to hitchhike everywhere. I figure, the cars are already going in that direction. So why waste petrol and get someone to come and get me when I can just hitch a ride with someone already traveling that way? And so I spent about half an hour outside the service station waiting for a car to stop for me, and none would stop. And then all of a sudden, a young lad stopped by, and I jumped in his car, and he was a beautiful young man. He'd just split up with his wife and kid, and he just made the decision to go and live with his mum and help her out. And so it was beautiful just to sit and hear his story as he drove me half the way home, or even more than half the way. And, meeting these unique people that you just don't get to meet unless you are in these situations was absolutely beautiful. And so he dropped me off just on the turn off, like 20 minutes out of Airlie. And then my beautiful daughter came and her family came to pick me up. So that was really nice. And so the next step, that was to get a motorbike. And I'd already seen one I really, really liked. And it was a Honda CFR Rally 300cc bike. And I thought, well, if I'm going overland to Darwin, I need a strong bike that can do all trails. And so I'd gone to try riding one, fell in love with it, and decided to buy it. And so, well, here's what happened. All right, so Tiki Ra on the road. We've finally got the bike that's going to do the trip to Nepal. And this is the beautiful family that's made it happen. All right, hey guys, so have you got any words just to tell us a bit about what brought you to buy this bike in the first place?
Yeah, so another adventure bike, or Triumph Tiger, and the whole idea was get a learner approved bike that my partner Sean here could ride, and we ended up sitting on one in the shop, and yeah, we liked it, so we bought it. Sean got a learners, and next thing you knew, we were pregnant. So we went for a couple of little rides, and we kind of decided that it wasn't really worth the risk of Sean potentially sort of falling off and all the rest.
Yep.
Nice. And have you guys got any words of advice for me on the big trip?
Just have a great time
Yeah,
and take opportunities
and,
that
yeah.
arise.
Nice.
No need to go far, slower the better. Yeah, it's a wonderful bike. It won't let you down. It's a shame to see it go, but you'll love it. You'll have a great time. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so well, you can see that I got the bike, great bike for doing the trip that's going to take me from Airlie Beach to Nepal to the orphanage that we're supporting in southern Nepal. And yet it's not quite the right bike. And so my ego took a bit of a bashing over the next 24 hours. What happened was a beautiful family left and I had the bike, and I'd been suffering from a bit of a migraine that day. So I wasn't really feeling like I was in full capacity to ride the bike. And so what I did was I thought, oh, I'll just move it. I'll just go and put it under cover where it's going to sit, but I won't ride today. You shouldn't ride when you're not in full capacity. And so I rode it just around our property to a different place. And just as I put my foot down to stop to, where I was going to park the bike, my foot didn't quite reach the ground. And so the motorbike fell. It all went in slow motion. And I was able to get my leg out of the way. Luckily, I'd put my motorbike boots on before I'd moved the motorbike. And so I thought, okay, well, this is a good experience. I've got to learn how to pick up a bike when it falls. Now, this bike's 140 kilograms. I'm 70 kilograms, but I'm not the strongest. Like, I've got a few muscles, but. And so I attempted to pull it up and I just couldn't get it up. And I thought, well, how's it going to be on dirt roads if I can barely touch the ground when I'm sitting on it? And then when I drop it, I don't have the ability to lift it. And so it was getting later into the day then, and I thought, oh, it just doesn't feel right. I'm not feeling comfortable about the bike. And I thought, all right, sleep on it. Make a decision in the morning whether what you're going to do about it. And so this morning arose and I woke up and I was waiting for Great Spirit to say to me, don't ride it. It's too dangerous. But I wasn't getting any messages from Great Spirit. And so that was kind of saying, oh, it's okay. And so I just meditated for a while and let go of it all. And then I went outside and thought, well, why not sit on it and try maneuvering it and see how it feels? That might have just been yesterday because I was feeling a bit off. But I found when I sat on it and tried to maneuver it around without the engine, I could barely touch the ground. And because our ground is uneven because we're on property, on land, I kept on nearly dropping it. And I thought, well, most of this trip's going to be dirt roads, I'm hoping. So I thought, well, I can't see any other way around. I'm just too short and too weak to be able to handle this bike. And so I decided then and there to sell the bike on. And so, this being the first podcast, I've started the journey, but I haven't yet to find the correct bike. But I know it's coming. So join me. Come along on this journey with Tiki Ra on the road. We're going to travel overland all the way from Airlie Beach to Darwin, jump a ferry or a boat or something, get over to Indonesia, up through Indonesia, and so on, all the way up to Nepal. So stay tuned and, just realize that sometimes when we think we know the answer, and yet it's not the right one, that it's our ego that kind of stops us being able to let go of what we think we want to be able to do things that are actually safer and more able to be done. Hope that wasn't too cryptic, but yeah, I learned a big lesson today. I learned to let go and surrender to what isn't, knowing that what is on its way. So yeah, happy days.